What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? It's that time of the week again. I hope you're excited. It's another episode of Live Video Game Hunts, that series where I show you all the awesome stuff I got through the week, through yard sales, garage sales, flea markets. I go to thrift stores like Goodwill and Salvation Army. I use apps like LetGo, OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook, whatever I can use to get my hands on some awesome games at some excellent prices. So make sure you stick through to the end of the video where I'll show you everything on a one-on-one level as well as anything I did not get on camera. If you want to support this channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see videos like this every week as well as some cool stuff in between, and make sure you share this video so other people can see these awesome finds. If you want to get a hold of me, I got links to all my stuff in the description. You got links to my Instagram channel because sometimes YouTube comments are very hard for me to keep up with as this channel grows and it's growing fast. You got links to my eBay page if you ever want to buy any of this stuff that you see. I always give subscribers excellent deals, as well as you got links to my Twitch channel if you ever want to hear me bitch at a video game. That's the place to do it. But anyway, guys, the time has come. Sit back and relax, and as some of y'all have coined this term, let's shekel up. Alright people, here we go with the first pickup of the week. This is through the eyes of Miss Rene Bean. I had her meet up with this guy because I was tied up. He had posted a Craigslist ad for $100. It was a Nintendo 64 lot with about 14 games. One game, he texted me and said, was not going to be included in the lot because it sold for like $100, he thought. And it turned out to be StarCraft 64, which it's a downer. It's a game that I did want, but it's okay because you'll see from the other games here that the money was still well spent, especially for one game that I'm super excited that I get to keep in my collection. There it is right there, Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Very happy to get that. Keep in mind, I only paid $90 for this lot, so I'll easily be able to make my money back, make a few bucks on top of that, and get to keep a few really awesome games, including this Game Shark right here, which is one that I was missing. So when I was texting this guy, I definitely didn't want to burst his bubble and piss him off by saying StarCraft definitely does not sell for that much. I just said, hey man, I'll meet up with you, but would you take a little bit lower since I was really looking forward to StarCraft? And that's how we settled on $90, which in itself was an amazing deal. Check that out. Smash Brothers, Donkey Kong. Of course, you're going to see all the pickups at the end, and this turned out to be a really awesome lot. Both controllers, the joysticks, were in excellent condition. The N64 was very nice and clean. I was very happy about this pickup. This is one of those examples where scared money is not going to make any money, and it's not going to get you any awesome games for your collection right here. Don't be scared to take that risk if you got to put a little extra work in just to get what you want out of it. So you'll recognize this place. I am at the pawn shop. You saw in the last pickups, this place is going out of business. The reason that I am back is because of you awesome guys out there always telling me stuff that I miss. And I missed Need for Speed Most Wanted for the 360. I didn't realize it's worth. It's a game that's easily overlooked. I mean, it's just one that you wouldn't, unless you knew, you wouldn't necessarily think it was worth anything. And it's one I didn't have for the collection too, so I'm glad I picked it up. And I was able to find a few more games that I did not have. So it was definitely an awesome stop for me. And what was really awesome is you'll see that I find 2 or 3 more original Xbox games that I did not have, and that is super awesome. Anytime I can find any games for that system that I do not already have, it is a great day for me. And another cool thing is me and the owner are talking about a big buyout here. Once he gets towards the end of the month, when this place is officially shutting down, I told him I'd come back, making him an offer, and he's really cool. Me and him work together. He always does me great deals, and I got a feeling he's wanting to get rid of them all in one go at the very end of it. And I'm going to probably offer him like $50 for whatever he's got left. And nothing, keep in mind, nothing's crazy here in this lot, but to get all the games that he has left for probably like a quarter a piece, that'll be a great deal. And we'll see what happens. If I end up doing that deal, obviously you'll see it on camera, but I don't know if it's going to happen yet. You see, I pick up that limited edition of The Godfather. That is an upgrade for me. I just had the standard version before that, so this was definitely an awesome pickup right here. I'm very happy about that one. It's crazy that the games that I run into that I do not have for the system is it blows my mind because I do pretty well with the photo memory of the games that I have for that system, and when I pick up a case that I know for a fact I do not have, it's like that high you get whenever you're game hunting and you come across a big box of Nintendos. I get that same rush because the original Xbox is a system that I'm avidly collecting for. It's one that I hold dear to my heart. And so anytime I find anything I don't have for that system, it's a very awesome occasion. And this stop right here is the second or third time that I've stopped in the past week or so, and I'm still finding stuff that I did not have. And of course, I'm sure it's hard for you to see all this stuff, and obviously at the end of the video, we're going to go over everything individually so you see what I got. I'm still trying to do better with the camera work. Like I said, whenever you got those spy glasses on, you got to kind of like chin your tits just to kind of get everything in frame, and it's awkward and you forget it's going to happen, but I do pretty well for what I got. And I remember the first time that I was here, a lot of you guys out there said that I was overlooking a lot of games. But keep in mind, I'm paying a little less than $2 a piece for these games. They're not at the price range to where I feel like I need to just grab a whole bunch of stuff to make big bundles. It's not at that point yet. When it's between $1.50 and $2, I'm just getting the stuff that I need for my collection, or $10, $15 games that I can flip. I know a lot of you guys get upset when I skip stuff that you need for your collection at a cheap price, but it's not necessarily stuff that I need because I either A, already got it, or it's just not worth the cost of me picking it up. Like I said, I'm only paying $1.50 to $2 per game on here. Now, if I'm getting them for a quarter, that's obviously a different story. I'm going to shekel up hard on it, but we're just not there yet. Hopefully at the end of the month we will be. But here I asked him if he had any more games, and he comes out with a whole bunch of sports games. Nothing at all sexy in there, but I do pull out 2 original Xbox games that were exclusive to the system. So I got a few people now that hunt exclusive onlys for the original Xbox. About 3 people I look out for now. This particular one, I messaged him. I was like, hey man, even though this is sports, you want me to hold it for you? He said yes, so I got a few other games he's interested in. I'm going to bundle them up, and we might come to some sort of agreement on a trade, who knows. But don't be scared to network, people. Get to know your fellow collectors, whether it's online or it's around town. Become friends. There are a handful of people that I look out for, people for Atari games, Nintendo games, Sega games. And at the same time, they're looking out for stuff for me. You would be surprised at stuff that you can get simply because you don't have eyes all over the world. But when you network and become friends with other collectors, you start to have eyes all over the place like a damn spider. It's a good thing to do, people. Don't be scared of it. We all need to get along and grow this hobby. So here we are at Goodwill, and it is super exciting to see any cartridge-based games nowadays at any thrift store. It's just getting harder and harder to find anything like that. And I come across 2 N64 games, one of which I shouldn't have picked up, but I did. I ended up getting them both. One was Excitebike 64, and the other was one that I did not have, which was called Winback. They were both, I think, $5 a piece. Not bad, but Excitebike just doesn't sell for that much, so I'll bundle it with a system later. And pulling around the corner to the DVD rack, I come across this copy of Bully for the PlayStation 2. Missing the manual, but the disc was in good shape, and for $1.50, this is one of those games. It's not extremely expensive. It's only like a $10 game, but it's great to bundle it with one of those PlayStation 2s that you got that just simply won't sell because you don't have any awesome titles to bundle with it. This is one of those games that people, when they buy a PlayStation 2 from you, they are wanting a game like this or Grand Theft Auto to really jump back into some of that good nostalgia that they got going on. This is one of those pickups that a lot of people would simply overlook just because it's high price. He had like 14 or 15 PlayStation 3 games stacked, and he had a big $100 price tag right next to it. It was way too high for the games that he had. It was a lot of sports, but he had a lot of good ones in there. So I sent him a message and I said, hey man, there's only like 3 or 4 games that I'm really interested in. Can we work out some sort of agreement? And for $5 each, which was an amazing deal, I got all 4 of these titles. I'm going to keep Gran Turismo 6 and Journey. I'm going to sell the orange box for the money that I spent, get my money back, and then I'm going to sell Portal 2 and then profit off of that. So anytime that I'm getting games for my collection for free, making my money back, and then making a little bit of extra on the side, that's what this is all about, people. This was a good pickup. Don't be scared of those lots when you see them on Craigslist or Let Go. Send them a message, say, hey, will you break it up? I'm not interested in all that. And you'll find a lot of times you can get a deal. And of course, sometimes you're not going to get anywhere. They say they only want to sell it as a bundle, but I got lucky in this case. So I get 2 awesome games, make a little bit, and I'm very happy about it. So it was an awesome pickup. Anytime you can profit, that's more money you get to put right back in your collection, and it's just a never-ending cycle of growing a very awesome big collection. So it seems every Friday at the flea market I've always been finding stuff, so I definitely don't want to lose that momentum. I checked back this Friday, and of course I find a few things here. This guy had some PlayStation 2 games. He wanted like $3 a piece, which wasn't terrible. I ended up getting the Simpsons skateboarding here, which is one that I did not have that I was fairly certain was exclusive to the system. And I also get Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex. So I'll be able to sell Crash and keep the Simpsons skateboarding for free, which is what it's all about, growing that collection without putting a single dime into it. People ask me all the time, hey man, how much money do you think you put into your collection, or how much do you spend a week? And really the answer is I don't spend a thing. I profit from this hobby. If you are smart about it, you can grow a collection like the size that I got and not pay for a single thing and even profit off of it. I'm a very avid, passionate collector, but at the same time, I want to get my shekels and I am not going to be scared of it. So you won't see me pass up a cheap box of Nintendo games because I already got them. I'm going to snatch them bastards up quick. I guarantee you would too. So this guy right here, you'll recognize from previous pickup videos. He's the one who buys storage auctions, comes to the flea markets and flips them. He's usually only here on Friday, but I have seen him on occasion on Saturday. So anytime, I'm at the flea market on Friday, which I try to go every week, I try to make it a point to stop by and check with him because he usually has some stuff. It's rare when he doesn't. So here you'll see that I get Flat Out 2. I get that to bundle with the system, and then I also get this copy of Rebel Raiders. Ignore that $3 tag. I paid $5 for all 3 games that you'll see me pick up. And like I was saying earlier, people, don't be scared to buy a game or two, even if it's not an expensive game, to bundle with a system to help sell that system. You spending $1 or $2 may be the difference between you making $30 or $40. It's like a chemistry equation when it comes to making a bundle to sell. If I got a PlayStation 2, you might see me stack it up with like 3 Grand Theft Autos or like Gran Turismos or something like that. Flat Out 2 is an awesome game that someone who wants a PlayStation 2 may say, God, I remember that game, I want to buy that bundle. So that's why you'll see me pick up a few of these games. Now this one right here was an awesome find, but it sucks so bad that the outer casework was a little jacked up. It was kind of like ripped on the bottom. It was Barbie's Horse Adventure, and believe it or not, it's a pretty uncommon game for the original Xbox. It sells for like 20-25 bucks. It's one that I did not have. So to get all 3 of these games for $5, it was an awesome deal. Even though the Barbie one was a little jacked up, it's still an awesome one to put into the collection because it's just going to be a harder game to find that I can mark off my list now rather than getting down the road when I'm getting late into my collection and struggling to find it. So I'm happy to pick it up even though it's not an awesome, crazy, cool title. It's one that I can mark off the checklist here and not have to worry about it down the road. So it's been a while since you've seen a pickup like this, but here I am at another Goodwill, and you know that I love collecting my video game related DVDs, and I do come across this very awesome one for Super Mario Brothers here. One that I did not have. It was $1.50. Of course I'm going to pick it up. I was very happy about it. My collection for video game related DVDs is growing, and it's really cool to have this sort of thing, especially to sit back and relax on a day off and watch some of this stuff. It's wild to see it now. And coming around the corner from that DVD pickup, I come across this Wii nunchuck. I only paid $1 for it. It was official. You can always tell because the end connector will say Nintendo. I never get the aftermarket ones, but like I say, people always pick up your controllers and accessories if they're official. It is a lot easier to sell a system with the Wiimote and nunchuck together rather than separate. No, people, your eyes do not deceive you. We are in an actual GameStop game hunting right now. It is possible to catch really good deals. That's the only time you'll ever see me filming a reseller's table or going into a shop is if I'm A, getting a really awesome deal, or I'm catching them slipping. And this particular occasion, I am getting some really awesome deals right here. One of my subscribers tipped me off to this promotion that GameStop was having, to where any game that was $4.99 or under, you were able to bundle and get 4 for $10. It's a good way for GameStop to unload a bunch of stuff that's not going to sell, and it's an awesome way for you to beef up your collection and get games for the same price you would pay for them out in the wild. So it's definitely what you'll see me do here with the Wii. I get a few 360 games, and I even get some PS3 games. And what really makes this pickup special is I end up getting a copy of the BioShock Remastered Collection for the Xbox One, and my entire receipt after about 10 or 12 games plus that was only $28. I had an awesome promotional code that I was able to use. Ever since they took away physical merchandise for your rewards program, that sucks, but at the same time I was able to get an awesome $25 gift certificate, so this pickup was especially awesome because I've been looking for that for a while. One thing that you need to do as you're hunting through games at GameStop when it comes to promotion like this, because it's the only time that I ever find myself actually going through all these games aisle by aisle, is I try to pull out a lot of the heavy hitter titles and familiarize myself with what those games are actually selling for. And if it's a game that I'm not familiar with, I'm going to pull it out just to get an idea. GameStop is pretty close to eBay and Amazon prices. Obviously, GameStop has slipped many times in the past when it comes to games like Hello Kitty Cruisers or just obscure titles that all of a sudden became high price. But of course, they're going to catch on eventually. But this is a good opportunity for you to familiarize with yourself with these games. So when you're out in the wild, you're not going to skip over games that you wouldn't think are worth anything. Cough, cough, Need for Speed Most Wanted. So it's a good time to familiarize yourself. Don't be scared to pull them out and just look at them. You'd be surprised what you'll remember. One of the other things that made this pickup really awesome is there's going to be a few titles out of this whole lot of games that you see me get. I ended up getting 12 games, and on top of that, I got the Xbox One BioShock Collection, which was an awesome pickup, and I only paid $28 for. But for the few games that are not exclusives that I'm not going to keep, I'll be able to flip and recoup some of the cost of this. So like I said, I'm only $28 in, but by the end of it, I'm really only going to be about $15 in with the games that I'll be able to flip, because if I'm getting the games for $2.50 and then flipping them for $12 to $13 minus shipping $10, $7 profit each one times 2, that's $14 right there off of my bill. So I'm very happy about that. Don't be scared of it, people. Don't let these stores intimidate you. You can go in there all the time and find things that you can easily make a buck on and get some get some free games out of it. It's not hard to do. You just got to have a little bit of know-how and not be scared of it. You'll see me here pulling out my video game price chart app, and this is one of the games here that I'll flip. This game right here sells between 10 and 15 bucks. So I'll be able to buy that, flip it, recoup some of that cost, and just make this whole experience a lot cheaper and a lot more awesome. And that's part of the thrill of it for me, people. If I get this stuff for free and if I'm making money, I'm happy. And of course, I'm going to remind you, stick through to the end of the video, and we're going to go over all the stuff individually. I'll show you everything that I'm going to keep, as well as the few games that I'm going to sell and recoup some of this cost. $28, people, that's all I put into this, and I'm going to get 12 awesome games, plus the BioShock collection for the Xbox One. My Shekeler is definitely pointing north after this stop. Very happy. So this awesome camera work right here is through the wonderful Miss Rene. She just wasn't able to use her phone to actually film getting these pickups. It died while she was on her way to do it, so she filmed this in the car, and you see that she got Until Dawn and Plants vs. Zombies. They both had $3 stickers on there, but she got the awesome 2 for $5 deal. Typically when I see games that are marked $3, I just automatically assume they're at least going to be 2 for $5. I'm going to shoot for $2 a piece, but at the same time, if I don't get that, at least I got the 2 for $5 to rely on. So that's what she picked up. It was a good pickup for $5. And here's Miss Rene again, and the camera works a little bit better. Keep in mind, she does not have the spy glasses. We only got one pair between us, and I am, obviously the one who finds most of the stuff, so I usually have them. But she does pretty well with her phone here. You see she gets some pretty good titles, and she only pays a few dollars a piece for them. I want to say maybe $2 a piece. I didn't clear that up with her exactly. But you see she gets some pretty decent titles, and there's one shitty Wii game that I'll get to add to the collection, so I'm super excited about that one. Hint the sarcasm. God, I don't. It's crazy, this addiction right here. Like, if you haven't seen my the sucky side of game collecting, check it out. I definitely mention the sucky side of it being an addiction, where we end up buying stupid stuff. And she knows that I collect shitty Wii games for the Wii, and so there's one that I get to add to it. So I'm pretty happy about it. And she gets a few other good titles, so they're good bundlers to have. So you have seen this lady in previous pickup videos. She always has super awesome prices. I don't know how she keeps coming up with new inventory, but I am not going to ask questions. I end up coming out with 5 games. I only paid $10, $2 a piece per game, and I get some pretty damn good titles. I get things like Pikmin for the Wii, as well as Left 4 Dead for the 360, which was the Game of the Year edition. And the other games, I believe, were all Wii games, but games that I get to add to the collection. So I definitely love seeing this lady. Every time she's here, I always make sure to stop and check her out, because for whatever reason, she comes across new inventory. Like I said in previous videos, she doesn't typically resell video games for profit. I think she may end up getting like bulk deals from people just trying to unload them. She gets them for dirt cheap, so she's going to sell them for dirt cheap. Never has she ever sold a game for more than like $3 a piece. I always check with her because I can always usually find something, and I'm glad I stopped this time because I was able to find 5 awesome games. I'll be able to make some money and keep some awesome games from this. So super happy about it. Very, very happy. So this seller right here, you may, recognize I actually bought a massive big box PC lot from him a few episodes back, and he had some new stuff in his really small game selection. Like I said, this guy doesn't normally sell games; he just has them, and it's kind of weird the way he sells them. He has everything individually priced, but the prices are super sporadic. Like there is no rhyme or reason to him. I think he's just pricing them at what he thinks is the most valuable. No game being more than like $5. But at the same time, like he'll have, Monopoly marked at 3, and he might have Tiger Woods marked at 5. Like it's just all over the place. But I do come across 2 Wii games that I did not have. He had $3 a piece marked on them. I, instead of going for the 2 for 5, always go lower. I said, hey man, how about $2 a piece? And I ended up getting them for that price. Always start low, because if they say no, well then at least you can fall back on the 2 for 5. So I was happy about that pickup. 2 Wii games I did not have, and they didn't look like extremely terrible games, which I'm used to. Except for this bootleg copy of Mission Impossible called Impossible Mission, so that's a pretty cool pickup right there. Saw this guy setting up and he was pulling out some toys. I've never seen him at the flea market, or at least not recently. And I asked him if he had some games, and he pulls out some, this little tote that had a few in there. Nothing special, but I do come across Fable for the original Xbox. Obviously, it's an exclusive. And like I said, I got people who look for exclusives when it comes to that system, so I'll ask him later if he wants that. If he doesn't, it only costs me $1, and this is one of those games that are great to bundle with an original Xbox system. It's one of those games that people say, hey, I remember that game, I would like to play it again, so $1 is not going to hurt me on that one. A buddy will either get it, or B, I'll be able to bundle it with a system. So here's another awesome example of always ask if people have games. They were setting up, and of course I'm going to ask. They said that they had some Xbox and PlayStation games. They pull out this bag, and I always love seeing this because it gives me that first dibs look at all the stuff that they got, and I end up getting some pretty cool titles here. What was funny about this pickup is the way that I was able to haggle it. Unfortunately, of course, there's no audio because it kills my spy cameras. But the way that this worked is, you'll see here that I get a copy of Street Fighter for the 360, and then there's those 2 PlayStation 4 games, Far Cry Primal, and then the Uncharted series, which is like the collection series. Those 3 games right there were the only ones that I was interested in. So I asked him, I was like, how much do you want for these 3 games? He said $25. It's not a terrible deal. Obviously, it's not the deal that I'm allowed to pay in my own mind. So what I did is I separated the games. I said, how much do you want just for Street Fighter? And he said $10 just for that game. So I said, well, that means you want $15 for these 2 PlayStation 4 games, which is still a good deal. So I rebutted and I said, well, how about $10 for these 2? And he came back and he said $13. We actually settled on $12, but that was actually a pretty decent strategy of getting these 2 games for cheaper, which he thought, for whatever reason, were, in his mind, a cheaper game than the Xbox game, which obviously isn't the case, because you know what these games right here are worth. I'll be able to keep the Nathan Drake collection and sell Far Cry Primal, make my money back. I was very happy about it. Sometimes you just gotta kind of work your angles around haggling. So this right here is my favorite pickup of the week. I have seen this guy sell before, and he has had some video game related items in the past, and anytime he does, it's always super cheap. He's one of those guys that gets it cheap and sells it just for a few bucks more than what he gets it for. You can already see there's the action set in the back, which he wanted way too much for. He wanted $120 for that. Obviously, that's the first thing that I asked about. So I ignore it and I start asking about everything else. A good little strategy here, if you're trying to determine what someone's going to charge you for games, is pick out a common game. And you'll see here that I grabbed Mario 3, and then I asked him, how much do you want for Mario 3? He said $5. So right away I knew that I was going to come out of this deal ahead. I was the first person here at this guy's table. He was on the very end where not a lot of people would have even walked up to, and I'm glad I decided to stop, because you'll see that I get 3 copies of Super Mario Bros. 3, Mega Man 3, and a copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I only paid $20 for all those games right there. And you'll see that there's this Super Nintendo bundle right here. He wanted $50 for that, which is a pretty decent deal, but me being the Shekeler that I am, I got it for 40 bucks. I'll be able to sell Donkey Kong Country for $20, and I'll be left with a very crisp, clean Super Nintendo with a couple controllers for $20. That's a very easy, flippable item right there. I can make some good profit on that to add to the collection, so I'm very happy about it. There was also this weird copy of Wild Quest. It's a Chester Cheetah game that I have never seen out in the wild. It was for Sega Genesis. I think they also made it for Super Nintendo, but I picked it up for $5 additional. I was very happy about this pickup. Anytime I can see some retro like this and get this stuff for super cheap, I'm very happy about it. So with some of the loose stuff laying around here, the PlayStation 2 complete in box, as well as the 5200 and the NES that you saw in the back there, another guy who owns a retro store came up behind me after I was done and bought all that. He paid $250 for all that. That's a bit too high for me to pay, but apparently to him there was a lot of meat still left on the bone. To each his own, I guess. I feel I definitely got the better deal on that one. 3 copies of Super Mario Bros. 3, as well as Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Mega Man 3, this super awesome Wild Quest right here, as well as that Super Nintendo bundle. Very happy about this pickup. This is why it's definitely my favorite for the week. This guy right here, I thought I hit the jackpot, never seen him at the flea market, but once I started asking about prices, everything was marked up just a little bit too high than I was willing to pay. But I do come across this copy of Friday the 13th complete in box. He wanted $10, I offered $7, and at first he denied it. I walked away, and as I was walking away, he said, come back, take it for $7. So for $7, complete in box Friday the 13th, I'll be able to sell the game and keep the box for free, so that was an awesome pickup. You'll see here that he has some pretty cool sealed Atari games, but he just wants way too much for them. So like I said, I was happy I caught that Friday the 13th game. Don't be scared to walk away from a deal. Don't pay more than you're comfortable paying. Like I said, he called me back. He took the $7. I was happy about it, and that's a good deal on that game, so I was happy to pick it up. So here we are at a yard sale still on Saturday, and it's crazy the things that you pass over. You just don't realize it. Your eyes look all over the place. At first, I come across these 2 PlayStation 2 games right here. Nothing special. They were both SpongeBob games. I asked her how much she wanted. She said $1 a piece, which is obviously a great deal. That is a price I love hearing at a flea market, yard sale, or garage sale. So I definitely picked them up. And anytime you find any games or game paraphernalia, it leads to the question of, hey, do you got any other video games? And she said, oh yeah, right here. And there was a box right below it as I walked up that had a few other games in it. It's just crazy that I overlooked that and bypassed it entirely and went for the other games. But I do find a couple more good titles in here. I end up leaving with 4 games altogether, and I paid $3. I shaved $1 off of it. Nothing extremely crazy, but I do get Resident Evil Outbreak, as well as this exclusive right here, which was Project Gotham for the original Xbox, as well as the 2 SpongeBob games. So for $3, I was happy about that pickup. So here we are with the final pickup of the week. This guy had an NES on his front lawn in a tote box with like 2 controllers, Zapper Gun, Mario, and a copy of Paperboy. Nothing special. He wanted like $75 for it. Way too high for me to spend. But it always leads to the question, do you have any other stuff hiding in the house? He goes in and he comes back out with a box full of GameCube stuff and a PlayStation 2 bundle. So I was pretty happy that he pulled anything out. The unfortunate side of it is there wasn't nothing extremely crazy in this stack of GameCube games, and it turns out that he wanted a little bit too much money for both systems individually. So what I did is I wanted to make the best out of this deal that I could, and I said, well, how about this? Let me pick out a game or 2, and would you sell me a controller or 2 at the same time? I'll leave you with one, that way you have one to bundle with the system later on. So I get this copy of Smuggler's Run for the GameCube. The only other system that I think it's on is PlayStation 2. So if I'm going to have it on either of the systems, I would prefer it be on GameCube. So I picked it up, and then I said, how about this? And 2 controllers, that way you still have one to bundle with the system later on. He says, how about these 2 purple ones, that game for $20? And that's still too high for me. What I ultimately settled on was this game and then 1 controller for $10. I would have gotten everything for $15, but one of the controllers, the joystick had the rubber, it was starting to peel off. Always inspect your controllers before you buy them. Inspect the cords, make sure there's no exposed wires, cuts, or tears. Check the joysticks, make sure they're not too loose, the rubber's on the joysticks not peeling off, and always check your buttons. But for $10 for this one game and that controller, I'll be able to sell the controller, get this game for free, and maybe make like $2 or $3 on top of it. So I was very happy. It was a good final pickup. It was late in the day, so anytime I can get anything late in the day past 10 o'clock, I'm always happy about it. So don't be scared, people. If they're not willing to give you the whole hoagie, at least ask for a bite, because a lot of times you can piece off a few things and still come out ahead. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed all that awesome live footage. Just like always, we're going to run through all these pickups here. If I can remember anything about them, I'll tell you. If not, we're just going to kind of zoom through them. No particular order. This stuff kind of just gets stacked in here as the week progresses. First up, we got Project Gotham Racing. It's an exclusive title for the original Xbox. Like I said, I got a few people out there that like to collect exclusives only. That's why I picked these up. Always look out for your fellow collector. We also got Fable, another exclusive, both clean. If they don't want them, these are great games to bundle with the system, so I paid $1 a piece for those games right there. These are the games Miss Rene Bean got right here. You didn't really see too well. She got a copy of L.A. Noire and God of War 3. She only paid like $1 or $2 a piece for those. I picked these up. I paid $12 for these two games. We got Far Cry Primal, which is like a $20 game. And then we got the Uncharted series, which I will keep that one. I had a digital download when I bought my PlayStation 4. I sold it. I don't like digital copies. You can't like just, thumbtack a digital copy on the wall and say that's cool to have. I wanted the physical copy, so I'll keep that. That's a good one right there. Miss Rene Bean got 2 for $5 on this. She picked up Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare as well as Until Dawn. So that's an awesome. If you've never played Until Dawn, play that game. That is very awesome. That's a double for me, so I'll be able to sell that. I got that copy of Smuggler's Run Warzones for the GameCube. I'll be able to keep that as well as that GameCube controller, which is in very good condition. I paid $10 for those two right there, I think, which is what I paid. Pretty good price. Let's see, at the flea market, that very decent copy of Friday the 13th complete in box, has the manual, has the styrofoam. Only paid $7 for that. I can sell that game, get that box for free, add that to the collection. Very happy about that pickup. I paid $20 for this stack of NES games right here. We got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Mega Man 3, 3 individual copies of Super Mario Bros. 3. Tell me you wouldn't pay $20 for that stack right there. That was awesome. Very happy about that pickup. I paid $2 a piece for this one. This is one of the games in that lot, which was Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead. Yeah, just the standard one, not 2. Game of the Year edition. $2 right there. That's a good resale game right there. I can't remember where I got these from. I think at a yard sale. Resident Evil Outbreak. Sky Odyssey, which I think Miss Rene Bean got. I paid $1 a piece for these. Actually, a little less than $1, like 78 cents or some shit. However much 4 games for $3 works out to be. 2 SpongeBob games right here, as well as some other ones we just ain't got to them. Always be on the lookout for Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's one of the games that sell for a little bit more. Some good old Wii titles right here. This is some more games that I paid $2 a piece for. We got Pikmin, which is awesome. As well as Namco Museum Remix. Firefighter. This is sealed, which is cool. Anytime I find sealed games, I always think it's fun to me, even if they're not worth that much. Death Jr. Root of Evil, which I actually found the DS version of this, if you remember last episode. And this is funny. This is like, I bought this at another seller there. This is a bootleg. To me, it's like a bootleg Mission Impossible. It's called Impossible Mission. I don't know anything about it. It looks god-awful. I need to start getting into reviewing shitty Wii games, man, because I got a feeling y'all would like that out there. I also got from them Counter Force. I paid $2 a piece for those. I ain't hating that. A shitty Wii game my wife got. At least I assume it's Woody. It's the Smurfs 2. I don't imagine it's going to be that great. She picked that up for me. I've never seen this game out in the wild. I thought it was cool to pick it up. Wild Quest. I'm probably going to sell this one just because I see that it's on Super Nintendo. I like to collect for that system if there's, if it's not exclusive. So that's cool. The Simpsons Skateboarding, picked that one up, as well as, well, I can't get to them because they're all out of order. It's just all random. This one, keep your eye out for it. Horse Adventures, or Barbie's Horse Adventures, Wild Horse Adventures. That's what, or no, what the hell am I saying? Wild Horse Rescue. I said that all wrong. I probably said it wrong in the video too. It sucks because the outer case is torn on the bottom, but the game's in good condition. There's no manual, but this is a fairly uncommon game. I'm happy with that. It's not the greatest game, obviously. It's not one that I would actively seek out, but you know that I collect for that system, so I was happy to pick it up. Pick that up, as well as Flat Out 2, and then Rebel Raiders for the PlayStation 2 for $5, so I was happy about it. Picked this up at Goodwill, which was the Super Mario Bros. Super Show Mario Spellbound. I love my video game DVDs. That's another one to pick up. We got Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex. I picked that up with the Simpsons Skateboarding. I'll be able to sell this and get that game for free, which is what it's always about. This was that Craigslist meetup right here where I paid $5 a piece for it. I am going to keep Gran Turismo 6. I'm going to sell Portal 2. I will be selling the orange box, and I will be keeping Journey. I'll be able to profit off that, get my money back. That's what it's all about, and keep 2 awesome games. So that was a good pickup right there. Oh, what else we got? At Goodwill, randomly, a nunchuck for $1. Pick them up, people. Don't be scared of them. You'll know that they're official if you look on the extension right here. It'll say Nintendo somewhere on there. Always get them if they're official. Let's see. We got another pickup. Actually, I don't think this one was on camera. If it's not, it's alright. It's the stuff you don't get to see on camera. We got Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, I think, Crisis Core. And then we got Bully, which is cool. And then we got the 2 N64 carts, which we got Winback, which is one that I did not have. And Excite Bike, I have $5 for Excite Bike. It's about what it's worth. I probably shouldn't have picked it up. But I'll bundle it later on and make a 64 bundle look a little bit more appealing. Oh, Lord, people. How do we end up with so much awesome stuff every week? I am not hating it. I love it. This was my GameStop bundle, as you saw in the video. I paid $28 for it. As a matter of fact, now obviously what helped with that was the promotional coupon that I was able to use. You know, if you buy pre-owned shit or whatever and you got the rewards card, you stack up points. They took away their physical merchandise, so the only thing that I could spend it on was a coupon. And as you'll see here, 28 bucks is all I spent for all this. And you'll see that I get some pretty awesome stuff. So for $28, we got a copy of The Godfather, the Blackened edition. Or, yeah, Blackhand edition. Pick that up. Circus Games, crappy Wii game. I'll be able to sell this, and I'm going to recoup some of that cost. So for $28, we're probably going to be looking more towards like 15 bucks by the end of it for everything. I'm going to sell this, which is Record of Argyrist War Zero. I'm not sure I pronounced that, but that sells for a little bit more than GameStop selling it. One I'm going to keep is Kung Fu Rider, which looks absolutely riveting. The Shoot, which is another exclusive for PlayStation. Pick that one up. We got Resistance 3, which is an exclusive for PlayStation. This is cool. I thought this was neat, which was Best of PlayStation Network Volume 1, which is just like 4 games, little indie games, but for like $2.50, that was cool. Kings of the Clubs, another shitty Wii game that I picked up. I got an addiction, people, and that Wii's killing me with it. Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. I did not have this for the Kinect. This is awesome. The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Pick that up. Obscure The Aftermath. I'll be selling that one because I think I have that for PlayStation 2. Probably. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, I see it. Obscure 2 The Aftermath, which is the better version to have, I think. Alien Syndrome for the Wii. And then the big title that I'm very happy about, which was BioShock the Collection. Hit me up on Twitch. I've been streaming this one here lately. I'm playing that shit on the crazy survival setting, which apparently is like ridiculous hard. I am a huge fan of BioShock, like very, very much so. And I definitely wanted this. This is selling online, or at least a digital copy on the Xbox store for $59. GameStop was selling it for $39, but plus they had a sale going on a lot of big titles. It was marked for $24. I got that for a great deal right there. You can game hunt at these stores, people. You can't be scared of it. Alright, that was awesome. Let's see. Some other games that I don't... This was from the pawn shop early on. We got WW Raw. I've never been a big fan of wrestling, so I don't know if that's like WWF or what. One that I didn't have, as well as 2 copies of this. I'm already talked to the buddy who is going to get one of them. And there's some other games I got to decide amongst the other people who want to get those. Those are exclusive right there. Alter Echo, I didn't have. We got Soldier of Fortune Double Helix 2, which I didn't have. We got, this is cool, The Godfather, the game, the limited edition. That's very cool with the paper sleeve. I thought that was awesome. That's an upgrade for me. And the one that made me want to go back, because you get subscribers out there to see stuff that I don't see, and y'all teach me all the time. I don't know everything. Need for Speed Most Wanted. I have played this when it came out. This game was awesome. I just didn't realize it held so much of its value to this day. It's like a 20, 25 buck game. So I picked it up. I was happy about that. Definitely cool pickups there, because I got all those games for very, very cheap. At the flea market also, I got this very crisp, clean Super Nintendo. You got Super Mario World in there, as well as a very crisp, clean Donkey Kong Country. You don't need to see the controllers and cords. Trust me, they're primo. They look very good. And I paid $40 for that. I'll sell Donkey Kong Country, and I'll basically have a very crisp, clean Super Nintendo to sell that I only paid 20 bucks for. There's room for some good profit there. The pickup that I'm very happy for, the one that made me super happy this whole week, that I am definitely eager to bust into. This was that super, or not super, but the N64 lot. I paid $90 for this, people. Like I said, don't be scared to pay money if you can get something out of it. And I'm going to get some good games, and I'm going to be able to make some money. So for $90, let's see what we got. We got one of the super pads. I actually think I'm going to start collecting these things. I love aftermarket controllers. I got a whole slew of them in the other room. For whatever reason, that one actually don't feel too bad. But yeah, I'm going to start hanging on there. Two other controllers. The controllers are excellent condition. But we got a copy of Zelda Ocarina of Time. We got Cruisin' USA, which actually I may not have. Gex 64, which I'm pretty sure I did not have. A copy of 1080 Snowboarding. Classic game. I used to pound the shit out of that game back in the day. 007 World is not enough. Another copy of 007 World is not enough. A copy of Tony Hawk, which actually this is promised out to a buddy of mine that I sold an N64 to recently. He said, hey, come across this game. He's looking for it. That's for him. Let's get into some of these good games right here. Why did I spend $90, people? Let's find out. We got, well, not this one. This is XG2. Believe it or not, though, this game is fun. If you've ever played any of the series, get into them. That game is awesome. But now some of the good stuff. We got Star Fox 64. We got Donkey Kong 64, which I think is better condition than mine. Let's see. We got a Game Shark, which I did not have for the 64. I love collecting my Game Sharks. We got Super Mario 64, which is going to make the bundle with, I'm already at that, limit right now with the 64, which we're already there. Gotta have your copy of GoldenEye. That's a classic game right there. Let's see, make sure before we get to the two big hitters here, we got Super Smash Brothers, which is very clean, very crisp. Probably an upgrade to my version right there. And guys, this is the one right here that made me so happy to get this. This is one that I'm very happy to add to my collection. That is Castlevania Legacy of Darkness right there. I paid $90 for all that, guys. The N64 is in here, and it doesn't have an expansion pack in there, but for two controllers, some memory cards, and all that, excellent deal. You can't tell me you wouldn't have done the same thing. You can't be scared to spend some of this money to get some. You don't get a collection like this if you ain't going to put the time into it, but I'm very happy about that. That's it, people. I'm exhausted. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, you have supported this channel so much, and it's shocking me how quick this channel is growing. I love it. I love keeping up with all you guys. I do it every week, even though sometimes it's kind of a bitch to do, but I do it because you guys want to see it. I got people that tell me that they get off work just as, when they get home, they want to see these videos on Sunday, which I always try to do them on Sunday. Next week, guys, there may be some bad news. I don't know if it's going to be the first time that I miss a video, but I got to work next weekend. What we're going to try to do is get Miss Rene Bean on with those glasses and see if she can't get some footage. And, of course, I want to be hitting it hard with the yard sales, or I'm sorry, with the thrift stores and whatnot throughout the week. If there's not a video next week, don't hate me for it. But at the same time, if we do get one out, it's probably because Miss Rene Bean got some awesome finds. So let's hope for the best on that one. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, do all that bullshit, because it's time to get them shekels up, people. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, people.